All right. So welcome to another Skyweaver Live patch notes today. Yeah, after a while, right? It's been like 2 weeks that we don't do any live streaming because of TwitchCon and all the madness. But here we are now, back in force to our regular schedule. Okay, so we have a patch this week. This should be going live tomorrow. People are still working on it. I'm currently in our development stage to see what's going on, right? So we'll be able to see some of the cards, of the newer cards here. But I would also like to say a few words about TwitchCon, which was pretty awesome. Let me change here now to our presentation. I should have something ready here for you guys. And there we go. Yes. So cool. Those are some of the pictures that I've taken with the team on TwitchCon in San Diego last week. So 3 days, 1 day of setup. If you have been to a convention, you know the madness that is. So you see those pictures right now are the pictures that we have before everything is assembled. So it's a huge mess. The San Diego Convention Center is huge. So there's that also. And it was pretty interesting. We had a lot of contact with streamers, big and small. And 3 days were really crowded. It was a bigger stream than we had, a bigger booth than what we had before, so that was useful. And what else? We could show the demo to a lot of people, and it was nice to really see what streamers want from a new game, especially from a card game and a new one that they have no knowledge about. I've had a similar experience in TwitchCon Berlin earlier this year, but it was just a different thing. That we didn't have any booth there and stuff like that. So yeah. Anyway, you can check the pictures there. It was pretty interesting. We had a team of myself, John, which is our lead game designer, Hanny, which is our amazing marketing director, and Tristan, which is one of our newest members in the company, the social media specialist, and is also helping with community and marketing. So there we have it. And I think that we have a lot of interesting things happening because of TwitchCon in the future. So there's a lot of contacts, a lot of things going on. But of course, we're still not 100% ready, right? So we understand that some of the streamers prefer to really dedicate themselves when the game is live and not during a beta. So we understand this kind of stuff, no problem. Cool. So going back to our other screen here, this is our development environment. So this is nothing here is live on the game today, but here we can see some of the cards that we already saw in the patch notes that was handled by John today. Yeah, let me just put this in full screen here, and yeah. So let's go through some of the things, right? We had a huge list of modified cards. Most of them, they had received smaller tweaks in relation to their cost. So cards like Necrosis had a small HP nerf, right, from 6 to 5, to make sure that it's in line with cards of the same. No, wow, I scared myself with the rating here. Welcome by Hack Gaming and his party of 4. Glad to have you guys on board. So let's go here. I was talking about some of the new patch modifications that we have now in the game. First of all, let's see here. We have Boulder. Boulder is an interesting thing because it's an old card, right? It was, I believe it was a 2/5 before. So it's now a bit more rounded, but it has a new mechanic that John is trying this time around, which is lead. So let's see if this works, right? Basically, this enchant can't be dusted on a unit. It's basically like a way to avoid pesky enchantments like frozen or flames and stuff like that. So yeah, let's see how it works, right? It's another layer of strategy for our players. So let's see how it pans out. Yeah, and again, to Biohack Gaming and everybody else that's watching, if you want to ask questions, I'm always available, right? So just let me know and I'll try my best here to answer everything that I can. I wanted to check with you guys what's new, because we had some cards that were removed from the game and then they're coming back, and there are a couple of really new cards. So first one is Frigid Blizzard. Let's see here. Yeah, that's it. Beautiful Frigid Blizzard, a great removal, especially early and mid game, right? It's terrifying against rush decks. And so give units without enchantments frozen. So that's a good point here, right? And then you do all 2 damage to all units. So it's a bit more balanced now. I think it was a bit way too good before. So let's see now what happens here in this current incarnation. Then we have Blademaster, which is this baby here. Yes. First, I love the illustration, the Kitana fan on the crane illustration there. It's pretty cool. And very offensive, right? So if you, with the cost of 2, so can really, if you can place it early and protect it, it can dish out some pretty decent damage early on, because it attacks for 3 and then the glory effect triggers for a plus extra 3 damage points, for a total of 6 damage to the hero. However, it's a guard, so it'll be targeted and it doesn't have a lot of HP, right? Just 2. So you have to be smart on how you use that. But I think it has potential, especially if you have cards that can maybe swap this guard for stealth or something like that. Then it can really put the hurt here. Then we have an old friend returning to the game, which is the Fox Familiar, the old Pyre Fox illustration here. And with completely different stats, although still with Blood Moon. I think it's an interesting choice for the early mid game, right, and late early game, if that happens, right. The change here that's most important in my opinion is now it has a bit of lifesteal. So if you can buff it, and it comes with a buff like in the form of Blood Moon, then it could be pretty interesting here. Biohack game definitely did my witch change at all? The Brood Witch? I'm not sure, I don't think so. I was looking here in the patch notes and I don't remember seeing our lovely Brood Witch buffed or nerfed. I think she's in a good spot, I think. She's a powerful card, but fragile, and if you can't place her and protect her, I think you deserve to win the match, right? So it's in a pretty good spot here. We then have Minion, which is also a rework of an older unit, the Grunk, I believe. Earth card, nothing very spectacular. 2, attacks for 2, defense for 3, mana cost of 2. However, this is a nice death effect. Draw a 10 cost or more unit. So it could work well with another card that triggers death effects, for instance. It's just a suggestion, right? So it's an interesting way to ensure that you have, as soon as possible, your big hitters, if you can make it work. Oh, it's a good interesting card here. Then we have Secret Garden. Secret Garden. Let's take a look at it now. So it's a pretty interesting spell. Another earth spell now. So you draw an element not in your grave, or you draw. Then you give your hero X health, which is the number of elements in your grave. So later on it's a decent heal, and you can then choose basically what you want. Do you want to cast it early and then drawing more, or you want maybe health for later game? So yeah, sure, no problem. Thanks for popping by. And again, we'll have this available later on video and etc. So good work. Have fun. Thanks for showing up. Cool beans. And then let's go for Harp X. Harp X was changed quite a bit. So now it has Screech, right? With you mulligan both hands, but the enemy loses one card in this mulligan process. Harp X lost. It was 5-1, I believe, right? And she lost her ability to send the card back to the hand. And now has a bit. It's cheaper and has better stats. So it was a trade-off. It was a really useful unit, especially if you wanted to activate some glory effects and stuff like that. So I think it's in a better spot right now. But you guys let me know. What do you want to see there? Then Crypto. Crypto's in the patch notes, but I think that it will not come into tomorrow's patch. Okay, I'll keep you guys posted. But I think that it will come in the other one. Then we have Ivy, which was a card that I used quite a bit in my agility decks. And again, completely different, right? It was a 3-1 with Wither. Now it's a 1-3 with Guard, but she retains her Trip Snare. So it's a change in function. I don't know. Let's see how it fits now into our decks. Again, cost 1, so there's that. It's a very cheap guard with a nice effect that can remove an enchantment or spell. So I think it has its place. Let's go for Mad Ronin, which is a nice illustration. I like it. I like this artist, Igor. I think has done a lot of cool illustrations here. So when you summon it, you add Soul Taunt to the enemy hand. Soul Taunt is that pesky removal that causes the unit to attack the enemy hero and then to die. So it's a trade-off, right? That's why he's mad, maybe. A very respectable 6 attack power for a 3-cost unit, which is interesting. Again, a high attack guard unit with low health. So I think this is a new trend that John is starting to explore. Guard units that are not just soakers of damage, but also units that are relatively easy to kill, but they can deal a lot of damage, so if left unchecked. So that's pretty interesting here. Then we have Captain Chen. Back to the game. As Captain Lightmane, Captain Chen. It was a lot of different incarnations here. And again, 3-cost. It's a nice little 1/1 buff to another target ally, which can be helpful, right? If you have like a witch or a unit that needs a little more staying power. It's a nice little playability. And Gift of Swords, right? Which is a great spell in my opinion. It's relatively costly, but you draw 2 units, and depending on how the game is going, that can win you the match. Cool. So I have a few more cards that I would like to go here. I have Bardem. Yes. Another Earth card here, and I think that now we start seeing the possibilities of Wisdom Earth deck here, because it's a pretty interesting card. So it's a guard, very strong defensive guard, 1/8. So what happens when you summon it? You get X health, and that's X is the number of Earth cards in your grave. So if you're dealing with a heavy Earth deck, it can really grant you a very sizable, respectable heal mid-game onwards. And in its own right, it's a great tank, right? It's 1/8. It's a lot of meat before your face, so hey, I would take it. And then I think my favorite illustration dispatch, a rework of Gus. And this is really nice. I love the color scheme of the air units, this turquoise and light blue. I think it's very, very fitting. Instead of the usually air units, they are either whitish, grayish, or yellow. In several games, yellow because of electricity. I think that we're going in a nice visual direction here. So Gus, it's a very small guard that comes with a buddy. So you get a free songbird, so a little banner. The songbird is protected by Gus. Since it's a guard, it can be a nice way to have some board dominance very early. It looks like a great first turn unit if you have it. And Heart Prism. Oh, that's pretty interesting. What else that's interesting here? We have Tidehunter. I'm sure you guys will recognize him. Yes. So now when you summon it, the enemy summons a 1-cost unit. So now remember that we are moving away from some of the old words. So the old conjure now become summons, right? So keep that in mind. So yeah, it's a strong unit, 6/6, cost 5 with stealth and shroud, right? So you cannot kill it, at least in the turn that it was summoned, with enchantments. So that's a useful card. But again, the enemy gets also a cheap unit. So can be good, can be bad. With my luck, it's probably bad. And then what else that's interesting here? I would love to add. So let's go through Sergeant Shred. Let me look for Shred. Yeah. Sergeant Shred. Nice. So someone fights the left enemy. This is also something that John is starting to explore. The idea of placement. Before the placement didn't really matter very much, right? If the card was to the left or to the right. We had the idea of putting all the normal and stealth cards to the right, the hero to the left, sorry, the hero to the middle, and then the guard units to the right. So now when you summon, it fights the left enemy. So now we are starting to have placement also in mind, which can be cool. There are a few cards here that were changed in this direction. That's pretty cool. I think there's a lot of space for that. And finally, I wanted to check with you guys Trinity Link. Yeah, remember, old Avatar of Light had lost its Trinity Link, then now it's back, right? There we have it. As a spell, it's strength, alright, but again, Avatar of Light remains a heart unit. It's a pretty versatile spell. It can really boost up some weak 1 health units, and it also can shrink those 10 health units to a more manageable 3. Well, that's pretty cool. And then looking here, what else we have? Let's check the patch notes here with John. We have a list of cards that were removed. So like he says here, they are likely to return in intellect when intellect hits the servers, or they are in our pool to be used at a later date. So Cube Jr., Flamian, Blood Moon, Octavian, Hail Hydra, Rise. We still have the attached version, but not the standalone one. Fire Noble, or Orion, Take Root, Swipe, and Kingsley. Shame, I loved Kingsley, but looks like I'll have to play Intellect and Heart when it comes back. So yeah, take a look at the spell notes here. If you check our Discord, patch notes in the beta discussions, it's all there. A number of small changes, like mostly all of them deal with small reductions or increases in cost and HP. Not a lot changed here, but yeah, I think lead is a metal enchantment, which is pretty cool. And now let's start thinking about placement of cards, right? Cards to the left and cards to the right. This, I think, will play a bigger role in the future of Skyweaver. Euphrates is asking, are all spells going to exist as standalone at some point? That's a good point. I don't think so. Not all of them. I think some effects, spell effects, are very specific to the combo of the creature that they are inserted with. So I think that a few will remain restricted to one specific unit or creature. Most, I think, should receive their versions as a standalone. And just like I showed here with the Trinity Link, not necessarily in the same prism as the creature that holds it. Heart and strength, right? So I think this is a good point here. And okay, then just one thing to finalize here. I wanted to show you guys. We were talking about the ranks. So this is something that we have been working for a while in the past. And I was showing this before I flew to TwitchCon. And here we have a small little slideshow of what you can expect now in terms of progression for Skyweaver. Wanderer, Apprentice, Scholar, Prophet, Archon, Master, and then the biggest one, Grandmaster, right? Very traditional names. I don't think we have to reinvent the wheel here with something super fancy. But yes, so as we go into the open beta and then everybody starts fighting their way to the top, this is what you can expect to climb, right? Everybody starts as Wanderers, and then only the best will manage to reach Grandmaster. When you're in the Grandmaster rank, then you can expect some nifty rewards, cards, maybe cosmetics and stuff like that. We're still, of course, defining how we're gonna reward players for their good performance, right? So bear with us for a moment, but this is what you can expect here for the moment. And all right, so I think that's it. I have a nice little animated card camera frame here. I have still to edit my name and stuff like that. I'll make sure that next week I'll have a better division here of patch notes and stuff like that. I have better visuals to make it a bit more visually interesting for you guys. And yeah, so again, keep your eyes open for the patch notes tomorrow. Next week, next Saturday, as usual, I'll also resume my random playthroughs with the community 1 hour later. So I start midnight here in Europe, which I think is about 5 o'clock Toronto, 4 o'clock on the east coast of the United States. Everything's there in the announcements on our amazing Discord. And that's it. Also, on Saturday, if you're new and if you want to grab some of the codes that we had for TwitchCon, we still have a few left. Show up, I'm gonna raffle a few of those. For not of course just new players, older players also. You'll be able to redeem this code, create a new account, and then you receive an amazing founder's card with that code. Not everybody will get one of those, so keep an eye out. I'll check how many I can distribute. I'm thinking of something around 5. Let's see what happens. And then show up on Saturday to play against me and the rest of the community. On Saturday we'll be playing the newest patch note, and that's it. So thanks a lot for joining in, and we'll see each other on Saturday, and then another patch week streaming next week on Wednesdays. Thanks a lot, and see you in Sky.